Let's talk about money. Men and women have been concerned about money since the first coin was fashioned in Asia Minor about 700 BC. You might say that money is like good health, in that we're concerned about it to the extent that we don't have it. The purpose of this message is to get down to basics, to completely clear the air surrounding the entire subject of money. Now, in order to do this, I'm going to have to get absolutely elementary. And while you may already know most of the things I'm going to say, I think it's important that we remind ourselves just exactly what money is, how much of it is enough, and how to earn the amount of money you need to live the way you want to live, now and in the important future years. Right off the bat, let's get rid of the old myth, once and for all, that money is not important. It is important, vitally important.
That was Earl Nightingale you were listening to. It's a clip off a record. I've been listening to these records for 50 years. And you know, my life changed like night and day. I began reading Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. I have never stopped reading it. The man that gave it to me said, if you read this every day, you can have anything you want. Now, I didn't really believe that, but I believed he believed it. And I started to listen to it. And then I found Earl Nightingale's records within a year or so, and I flew to Chicago to buy them, and I bought all his records and I began listening to them because, see, it was all on record. I'm going way back 1960 now. And I've never stopped listening to them. Now, after about 10 years, I questioned what had really happened to me. My income had skyrocketed. I had no formal education. I had 2 months high school. I had virtually no business experience, and yet here I was, just from listening to these records and reading that book. I was earning over $1 million a year. I had a business that operated in Toronto, Montreal, Boston, Cleveland, Atlanta, and London, England. And it was while I was in England, I stopped and asked myself, how did all this happen? And I couldn't answer it. So I began to try and figure it out. I had been raised to believe if you're going to earn a lot of money, you've got to be really smart. Well, I knew I wasn't that smart, but I was earning a lot of money. It took me 9.5 years, and I'll tell you what I found, and I've studied with some of the most brilliant people. In fact, I ended up working right beside Earl Nightingale and his partner, Lloyd Conant. And I found that Earl Nightingale had taken and put the secret of the ages into these recordings. Earl Nightingale was a serious student. He studied it, and he discovered it. And he buried it in messages that he recorded. There were a dozen of them, and it was in a program called Lead the Field. Now, many people have read and listened to Lead the Field, but few of them have studied it in depth that I have. And I took everything that I found Earl Nightingale buried in the program, and I've recorded it.
It's called the New Lead the Field Coaching, and it's a mind-blowing program.
I'm quite proud of the program because it uncovers things that most people never learn in their entire life. It's not included in our educational system. And I fell in love with this material many years ago, and I decided I was going to spend the rest of my life teaching it to other people. And I've traveled all over the world. I built a studio here a couple of years ago, or my company built a studio in my backyard. And I can broadcast all over the world from that studio. I'm going to broadcast to you right now. So I'm going to wander into the studio now, and I would like you to come and join me. And I'm going to show you a little recording. It's actually a record player that I could carry around in my hand. It was a portable record player, and I began listening to these records everywhere I went. I would take the records and I would play them. Didn't matter where I was, I would play them. And I would play them on this little handheld record player.
To the effect that it's not as important as other things is absurd. Nothing will take the place of money in the area in which money works. That's all there is to it. So let's get down to business. First, what is money?
You see, I didn't understand money. Earl Nightingale helped me understand money. I've earned millions of dollars, and I don't have the qualifications that most of us are raised to believe are essential if you're going to earn a lot of money. I'll tell you the essential ingredients for earning a lot of money is buried in certain laws. This whole universe that we're a part of operates in an orderly manner. I have a great library of books, and they're all saying essentially the same thing, but the laws are all buried in it. I'm going to introduce you to these laws. I'm going to show you how to incorporate them in your life in the new Lead the Field program. And so what we've done is take Earl Nightingale's Lead the Field verbatim, every word, and then I will take and I'll break it down. Like on the very first message, he talks about attitude as being a position or bearing as indicating thoughts, feelings, and actions. Well, then I point out that there's three different elements there: thoughts, feelings, and actions. And it deals with the three parts of our personality. Our thoughts deal with our educated or our intellectual mind. Our feelings deal with the universal side of our personality, our emotional mind. And of course, the action deals with the physical part of ourself, our body. So do you see, when we get into he calls the magic word, the attitude, it's the expression of the energy that flows to and through us. And energy does flow to and through us. As you dig into this program, you're going to absolutely love it, because you're going to start to see and think, oh, now I see, now I understand. I'm exposing all the laws that Earl built into this program. All the ancient truths. You see, the truth never changes. It has nothing to do with the times we're living in. We're living in a very fast-changing world. But you know, everything that's happening is happening based on universal laws that never change. You see, the new Lead the Field that you see outlined here on the site is probably one of the most complete programs that you will ever find on the human personality, how it works and why it works. It's been prepared after many, many years of study, of research, of in-depth research, and I've taken it and I've used it. Sandy Gallagher, who is my business partner, has been working with me now for the past 10 years. Is an absolutely brilliant woman. She had a bachelor's, a master's, and a doctorate in banking law, which is a very sophisticated financial type of a study. So she came from one side of the tracks, I came from the other side. I had no formal education. But what I did have, I had Lead the Field. You see, when you follow the laws of the universe, you have to win every time. And that's the way this program is. It'll help every person who follows the program as it's laid out win. The laws that Earl has incorporated are basic truths that never change. We have many changes taking place in our life. We live in a very fast-changing world, but the basic laws never change. Everything is in harmony with the law. The internet, everything that's happening, our cell phones and the things we do, they're all founded on basic laws, on frequencies, and the dealings with the laws. So Earl included all these in this program, but he buried them in it because back in the 50s and early 60s, when you got around business, there wasn't a lot of talk about spirit, spiritual laws, universal mind. I mean, that was sort of woo-woo stuff, and it just wasn't covered. Earl knew that. He was a brilliant individual. So he buried it all in this program. It changed my life like night and day. I want to know why I changed. I guess something like Earl, I wasn't satisfied with winning. I want to know why. It took me 9.5 years, and I found out. And so I began taking everything I found out about Lead the Field and talking about it. Vic Conant, the president or the chairman of the Nightingale Conant Corporation, he said, Bob, this should be made into a program. So what we've done is take Earl Nightingale's Lead the Field verbatim, every word, and we've incorporated it, and I'll break it down and explain how and why it works. You're getting an education in this program, the likes of which I don't think you'll find anywhere else. Now, the only credit I deserve for the program is the patience the understanding of studying and finding out, how did Earl hide this? Where is it? In what part of the program? And that's what you're going to find as you go through this. Now, I also found it was through repetition. It was the repetition of the same thing over and over that buried the idea in my universal, in my subconscious mind, because that's where it has to be if I'm going to act on it. Our educated mind, our conscious mind, gathers information, but that's not the side of our mind that controls our behavior. It's our universal, our subconscious mind that controls our behavior. That's where the paradigm is resonant. It's the paradigm that controls our life. In fact, we're creating a program, The Power of the Paradigm Shift. Well, we've put this into this program, and we've designed it so that each lesson you will study for 10 days. The program is designed to run over 120 days. I guarantee you, if you will use this the way we recommend, 120 days from now, you're going to need a telescope to look back and see where you started. Sandy Gallagher is a brilliant woman. So when we talk about money, she'll be sharing information with you and how she's used all this to accomplish what she's accomplished. She's a multimillionaire, a young lady who's absolutely brilliant, and she has the same desire I have, just to communicate and share this information. She will be sharing this with me. So as you start, you'll receive a video from me, a printed lesson, and the audio lesson. 5 days later, you'll receive a video from Sandy Gallagher, and she'll help anchor the lesson that you're studying. At the end of 10 days, you get the second lesson. And this is the way it works for 120 days. 120 days from now, you're going to know everything that's in these libraries, because we've got it all condensed. It's like instant coffee. You've got instant knowledge, and you've got it locked up in the new Lead the Field. You're going to love this. I trust you'll love it like I do. Now read everything on this page, study it carefully, and then hit send and get into the program, because it can start today for you. And it'll go for 120 days. Change will happen just bang, bang, bang in your life. It's Bob Proctor. Thank you.